Hello and welcome to part one of environmental toxins. Today we're talking about BPA, bisphenol A. What is it and what do I need to know about it? BPA is a plasticizer. It helps to make other plastics more rigid, but it's not used in all plastics. Ziploc bags never had BPA in them. It's just a marketing gimmick. BPA mirrors other plastics that shed and degrade and leach into whatever it's containing. BPA is the most widely used plastic additive and it's also the most studied. Sister products like BPS and BPF are similar in chemical composition, but we know a lot less about these plastics. They may be just as bad or far worse. So be wary when you see BPA free, but you see one of these sister products instead. Household plastics are our biggest exposure. They're all over our home, but food containers have the biggest potential to leach. And here are some things that increase the rate of migration. Heat. When we pour food into a hot plastic container, it sheds much more quickly. And you can also think about your water bottles being in the car in heat and sunshine. Those chemicals leach into our water very quickly. Acidity, like spaghetti sauce or maybe salad dressings, pull that plastic chemicals into our food. Abrasions or cuts will shed more quickly. Grease, fats, and oils work much like acidity and time and age. A new container will not shed quite as quickly as an older container. Other sources of BPA are the lining in our canned food and beverages. Receipts have unbound BPA that shed very easily. Not a big concern for someone who's handling a receipt for just a few minutes, but someone who's at a cash register all day has a much bigger exposure, and it is of concern. Dental materials, eyewear, and toys also contain BPA, and I think about the little children chewing on plastic toys. The general health impacts are that these chemicals are not tightly bound, so they shed easily, they shed constantly, and these tiny pieces are easy to be consumed and digested, but we don't eliminate them quickly. They do accumulate. How bad is it? Well, the CDC found that more than 90% of the people in the United States tested found to be carrying BPA residues in their body, and that included children. BPA also was measured in breast milk, amniotic fluid, and follicular fluid. That's the clear fluid that surrounds the egg when it leaves the fallopian tube, providing evidence that developing fetuses and infants are exposed rather quickly, early on. Specific health risks are these, and this list is not exhaustive. I'm going to give you a minute to absorb this. Maybe you or somebody you know suffers from one of these illnesses, and I want you to think about the impact that BPA has on them. What is an endocrine disruptor? Endocrine is another word for hormone. It interferes with our body's natural hormones, and we cannot use them and we don't eliminate them easily. BPA is just one of many xenoestrogens. Xeno meaning it comes from outside of the body, and these are not real estrogens, so we cannot utilize them. In part two, we're going to be talking about phthalates. So what do I mean by molecular mimicry? I'd like to explain it this way. If you think about an electric car pulling into a gas station and parking in front of the pump, it cannot use that fuel and it can't leave because it's out of gas, out of fuel. But a gas-powered car comes and it cannot get the fuel because the mimicking hormone or the electric car is parked in the way. So the next pump that it goes to still has another mimicking hormone or electric car. So what's happening is these mimicking hormones are getting in the way of our real hormones and how they function and all of the things that they do inside of our body. These mimickers accumulate and they're not easy to get rid of. That's why we do a liver cleanse. Our best defense is to avoid plastics whenever possible. Opt for stainless steel, glass, or ceramic uh, storage containers for our food. Make sure we cool our food completely before putting it in plastic if that's our only option. Never cook in plastic. Get rid of your crock pot bags and your oven microwave bags. Never microwave anything in plastic. Try to use reusable travel water bottles if ever possible. And if that's not an option, look for a water bottle that has a thicker plastic than the flimsy ones because they shed the chemicals much more quickly. Whenever possible, look for condiments that are packaged in glass instead of plastics. The real thing is that plastic is here to stay. It's never going anywhere, but we can sure be smarter about how we use it. These are my references, and I thank you for listening.